Hey guys, Moldran here. Today I'm going to bring you some gaming news about games that I'm either covering already or looking forward to. Now, first we have here Diablo. You can see here on the Blizzard job page that they are looking for people for different games, StarCraft, Tears of the Storm, and also one of those games is our beloved Diablo. And you can see here if you go for art director, first it shows that with the exclamation mark here to the left, it's a very crucial position in the company. And when you go here and it says pretty much like they're looking for a skilled art director to work on all things Diablo, and they say, as an artist, your vision and direction will help define the look of new characters, environments, and architecture in Diablo style. Now, what this means is they're recruiting a really, really important person for Diablo that is responsible for new characters, environments, and architecture. Now, it could, of course, be the case that Blizzard just tries again in a very big content patch where they make a new class and new areas and whatever. But what I believe is going to be true is that they're actually working on an expansion and they're going to release that new content with new characters and environments and so on with an expansion. So I think later this year, maybe at BlizzCon or E3 or one of the big conventions, we're gonna get an announcement for the next Diablo expansion, and it might like even come out next year already. So I think that's one reason why they didn't like produce a lot of content recently for the game that a lot of people are working for. They're just like waiting for the right moment and like trying to also monetize all the development effort that they're putting into Diablo in the form of an expansion. And so yeah, good things are coming up in the future. We probably have to wait a bit for it, but as I said, like BlizzCon this year around this time schedule, we should be hearing more from Diablo. The next up is Lost Ark. Now, there's a really, really good interview about Lost Ark, the MMO that I presented in one or two of my previous videos. It's a Korean MMO that's gonna come to the Western world, and it's looking fucking amazing. It's kind of like a combination of hack and slash and MMO, so it's kind of like what the Diablo 3 originally was supposed to be, developed by Blizzard North. But yeah, let's go over the key points here in this interview. Now, first question was about the world, and Lost Ark really features a very big world. Unusual for an action RPG, but it's kind of like a large world, kind of like from MMO, but the game is still like an action RPG, so it's still like a hack and slay, just with a bit more abilities, games like Diablo. But overall, there's a very huge world and that you can explore. And next thing is weather is going to be dynamic, so it's not going to be like real life weather, so it will be at a shorter schedule. For example, every 2 or 3 hours it's gonna become night, and then there's certain monsters that only spawn at night, whereas there's other monsters that only spawn at day. And then you can really figure out, okay, what's the most efficient way, or where do you wanna fight when it's actually night and stuff. Then there's the NPC relationship system, and what this means is that you don't just go to an NPC and then you can like buy items or sell items or identify items. No, it means you actually like establish a relationship with an NPC. So it depends like how you react, how you act for an NPC. Like, do you do his jobs, or are you nice to him and stuff? And then the NPC might be more valuable for you. Think about it like kind of like you interact with Deckard Cain, and you have to be like nice to him, or if you're bad to him, then other things happen or whatever. So it's kind of like from Skyrim, some elements from like those games. You can see that actually the NPCs change their behavior depending on how you act. Next question was about PvP, and there's going to be, at one point there was going to be arena, that's where the competitive PvP is going to be into, but it's also going to be like large outdoor zones where you can battle. I mean, there's going to be a big castle that different clans or groups can battle for. In terms of like an action RPG playstyle, so that's really interesting. And there's also like some outdoor areas, because the world is so huge, there's also some outdoor areas where you can also attack other people. So it offers plenty of options in PvP, which is really good, because not all action RPGs can do this apparently. But yeah, next thing is discovering new islands. So that's for me also like one of the most important things. In Lost Ark, you can actually discover new islands. So there's like a big sea world, a big ocean, and there's a lot of tiny or even bigger islands. And you as a player, or you as a group of player, can capture like some of those islands and like, for example, conquer them. For example, either you're the first on an island, then you can set up a base there maybe, and from where you land all your activities, so you can build buildings there, whatever. And what's also important is you can also like attack other islands. So if there's like a really big island with like, let's say, a lot of resources, there's probably a lot of like people want to get control over that. So there's going to be like a constant battle about those islands, which in my opinion sounds really, really cool. But they're going to reveal more about this feature in the future. The next thing is interaction between players. This is mostly about the auction house. There's going to be an auction house, but what they do is they don't make it like Diablo, where every single item has been able to like get traded on the auction house. They make it so that only like a tiny % of the items can be like traded on the auction house, and then there's like some items from bosses, then there's some items from exploration or whatever. There's many different ways to like gear up, and the auction is just playing a very small part in this economy and gearing up process, that it shouldn't be any big issue. And then next question is, Guardian raids and cinematic dungeons. Now what are they? Well, cinematic dungeons are really, really tough dungeons in the progress of the storyline. So if you play Star Wars: The Old Republic or a game like that, like every 10 levels you find a big dungeon, and you have to fight and complete this big dungeon with like raid or boss encounters, and you have to play around the boss mechanics and so on. So those are like the cinematic dungeons that are kind of like integrated in the storyline. Then a Guardian raid is something different. A Guardian raid is something that could appear outdoor in certain places at certain times, and it's in terms of difficulty, it's even like one level above the cinematic dungeons. So that's like really, really challenging, and some going to be so hard that you don't know what to do. And then the real question is really, how can you like complete them? Well, that I don't know yet, but maybe we're going to find out together when the game comes out. Then another question is about classes. There was at least one tanky class, the Warlord, and there are also going to be healer classes and support classes planned. And the thing is, in Lost Ark, there's going to be 18 classes. There's a current plan, 18 classes. There's going to be like a couple of tank classes, a couple of healing classes, and so on. And now, in games like Action RPGs and MMO, there's also a problem. People don't want to play support. I mean, in Diablo as well, like everyone is playing right now Demon Hunter or classes that do a lot of damage, and there's only like a few support Witch Doctors or support Crusaders. But still, like, I think having those different classes makes the game more appealing. And they also said that, for example, a support, the healer class, is still able to do damage, a lot of damage, like in certain ways. Maybe not as efficient as, let's say, pure DPS mage or pure DPS warrior, but still like a lot of damage, so they can still like play on a very high level in solo play. I mean, they can just heal themselves all the time, and they still do decent damage. So they make sure that like all the classes are balanced, and that there's going to be a nice improvement of the game. Then another class was customization. Okay, that's not really, for me that's not important, but you're also able to customize your character. Then they were asking about controller support. This might also come, but it's not sure yet. Then this is an interesting question. They were asking like, Diablo 3 had great success with consoles. Do they plan it? And the answer was pretty straightforward. No. They don't want to like confuse the game or develop it twice, like always make sure, okay, this has to run on consoles, this has to run on consoles, this has to run on consoles, and limit like their potential for the PC development of the game. So they really are not looking forward for consoles now. They don't want to produce a console version of the game, and that's, in my opinion, a very big thing. And then the two big questions. First is, will Lost Ark use a free-to-play model? And if so, can you guarantee there won't be any gameplay advantages in cash up? And this is now really huge, because one of the major like disadvantages or criticism of Korean games has been, oh, it's going to be pay to win, it's going to be Neverwinter, it's going to be Archage, it's going to be whatever. Those games like have huge pay to win aspects to it, like cash shops where you can purchase very strong advantages. And the community of Lost Ark, the people interested in the game, the Korean community, they actually were voting on this topic. And to my surprise, and to the surprise of like many Koreans and many people in the world, the vote actually said that they actually prefer a subscription-based system. So they actually prefer to like pay $10 a month and make sure the game is not pay to win, that it doesn't have that cash shop attached to it. And that, in my opinion, is huge. And they even say they think the pay to win model should be changed, and they will find reasonable business models with that regard. And in my opinion, that's really, really big thing, because someone with, let's say, who earns $10,000 a month shouldn't like have a big advantage than someone who, let's say, only earns like $1,000 a month or whatever. Last question was, that's an interesting one, do you have a roadmap for release in Western countries, and can we expect a Western closed beta test within 2015? And they said like first they're going to launch in Korean market, so they're going to have a Korean beta in 2015, and then they're also considering to launch it in Western market, and the date will be finalized in the future. So I assume before 2016, not many things will happen in Lost Ark, but we just have to wait and like see. I mean, maybe there's a wait for us to play the Korean version. Maybe we're gonna go for that, but yeah. Overall, like I really liked the interview, like very good information, and I really hope that the game is gonna be awesome. And last thing, that's now something positive compared to the last question of the Lost Ark interview, is Lineage Eternal, the other action RPG from Korea, announced that they're gonna enter in the investor call. They announced that a global version of the game will be available for testing during the second half of 2015. So from July to December of this year, there's going to be an international English translation of the game. And this is going to be huge, I think, and I'm really looking forward to test a Lineage Eternal later this year. And yeah, it's going to be interesting if like collides with like the announcement of Reaper's Souls and maybe even the beta or the announcement of next Diablo expansion or maybe even the beta of next Diablo expansion. But we'll see. I mean, there's going to be plenty of games to choose, and this year is going to look really, really awesome. And yeah, that was my first gaming news. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know what you think about the games and about the current development in them. And have a nice day. Thanks for watching. I'll be back.